Just like in the beginning of camp, when Coach Wolf first got here, he told a lot of us to be ready to multi-train in different positions. Jarrell's been training at guard and tackle since camp. So, I mean, we lost Heath. We all care about Heath, and we all wish him the best, but we have to move on as a team.
What happened 2 years ago after the Vanderbilt loss that seemed to send your season to a tailspin?
2 years ago. Oh, that's when we were number 6 in the nation, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anything after that loss really sent to the tailspin. I think every week, we came out there prepared, but I mean, there's no one specific thing we could actually point to be like, oh, we all, just went down. I mean, I feel like we all were still, we're out there working hard, but I mean, we had a lot of close losses that same year. We're down to Tennessee at 21-0 at halftime, came back, went to overtime. I mean, we were still out there fighting.
That Alabama defensive line, is that the toughest you've got up against so far this year?
They had some good players up there, yeah. You look at the depth chart, you saw across the board. I mean, they had 6'4", 290-pound DNs. And at the same time, he's a DN, but rush downs, he came down to D tackle. I mean, they have a lot of talent. They were a good defensive line, and but Peters from Kentucky, he was also a good D lineman. I mean, in the SEC, we faced a lot of good talent, but they were a good defensive line.
Lem, you've played some of the guard spots before, and now with you guys being kind of thin at guard, has Coach Wolford discussed you or Garrett playing guard when you're not playing center?
Since the beginning of the season, after my injury during the spring, coming back in the fall camp, I was playing all positions. I mean, as you saw last game, I went in at right guard a little bit, and NC State game, I was left guard. I mean, I've been ready to play any position out as needed for the team. Garrett, he has practiced at some guard, but right now going this week, we don't know. We're all just, getting reps at all positions, just being able to be fresh.
Last week, Coach Berry said there was more pressure on the Kentucky and Vandy games for you guys than with Alabama. As you get ready for Vanderbilt, is there more pressure than, say, even in past years just because you've lost the past two to them?
I wouldn't say pressure. I mean, just like I said before, I mean, our next game is always our biggest game. Vanderbilt was a big game, it was an SEC game, and we have lost 2 years straight to them. I mean, we haven't forgotten it, but, as we look at tape, we try to learn from our mistakes from those past games. I mean, me personally, don't like losing, but I know they're a good team. We watched tape on them already. O-line, personally, we got a lot of tape already, putting the extra hours, look at the tape, and we're getting prepared for Vanderbilt.
What was more disappointing, losing that initial game to Vanderbilt 2 years ago, or losing to them 2 straight years?
I mean, they were both very disappointing. I mean, you're losing, especially the SEC East game. It's very important. I mean, they both hurt. I feel like equally.
Well, you're starting to wind it down here after 5 years. I mean, is it starting to hit you? This will be your next week, that last trip to Knoxville. I mean, is it starting to hit you that the end's coming up?
Yeah, it started hitting me during camp. Going to camp in like our first scrimmage. We walked in there and the stadium's empty. I'm looking around, all the new changes, things that weren't there when I first came here. It's feeling like when I first came, I'm a 245-pound defensive end from Orlando, Florida, and now I'm an offensive lineman, 300+ pounds, and I'm just looking around like, these 5 years actually did go quick, like they told me.
How many different position coaches have you played?
Let me think. 4. When I first came here, Coach Hicks was defensive line coach. Next year, I had Coach Long, Coach Hunt, and Coach Wolf.
What are some things you want to do here before you're done, football-wise, or I don't know. I mean, there things, what I mean? Are there things you got to go do this before? When are you set to graduate?
I graduated last December, so I've already graduated. I took a couple grad courses, and now I got to make sure I get my GRE done so I can get enrolled into a grad school. But before I leave, I mean, of course, I want to get as many wins as possible. Compete every week. But when I first came here, I mean, I wanted to try to do my best to leave a legacy. So when I left, I mean, they knew who I was. Yeah, going down the road, maybe as a model student, athlete, as a whole.